Welcome to Hendricks How-To. My name is Finnigan, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how to do the yes breath. So I'm going to remove my glasses so you don't get the glare off them, and I can kind of see things well enough. I've had the privilege recently of being on the body intelligence training support team. And it's just been amazing being re-exposed to a lot of the breathing that Gay Hendricks teaches. And so today I thought I'm going to share the yes breath because it's reminded me to incorporate the yes breath more and more into my own life. And I'm going to just do a 3-step approach. So I'm going to start with what I call the pelvic fishbowl. Then I'm going to move into letting the movement start from your pelvic fishbowl and up your spine, vertebra by vertebra. And finally, adding the breath to that equation. Each time, I'm just going to attempt to do a couple of iterations so you can have a go at practicing it and internalizing it, and then go from there. So let's begin. I'm going to face sideways. For me, I'm thinking of this as my pelvic fishbowl, so my whole pelvic area. And the idea is to have a chair and to have your sit bones on the edge of the chair so that as you roll backward, you're unlikely to connect with the back of the chair. Yeah, so that's the theory, that's the aim. I want you to imagine that your pelvic fishbowl is full of water. And the idea is that we're going to go roll over our sit bones to the front. And as you do, some water is likely to fill out the front of your fishbowl. And then we're going to roll over our sit bones to the back. And as we do, some water is likely to tip out of the back of our fishbowl. So I'm going to invite you to do that with me a couple of times. So to roll over our sit bones to the front. And you can see some water tipping out the front of your fishbowl, and to roll over your sit bones to the back and feel the water tipping out the back of your fishbowl. Rolling over your sit bones again to the front and rolling over your sit bones again to the back. I'm going to layer it up with the second piece. And before I do, one of the things I love that Gay Hendricks shares about the yes breath is that when the sperm and the egg meet, one of the first movements that this combined cellular structure does is it does the yes breath. It's one of the very first movements we do, and babies are born doing it, so it's a very natural movement to embody. Step 2 is to think about from your pelvic fishbowl, thinking about that moving up your spine, vertebra by vertebra. So I like to think of it as the movement comes from my pelvis, and then I can just follow it, vertebra by vertebra. So let's try that together. We'll move to the front. So I'm going to roll over my sit bones with my pelvic fishbowl. I'm going to let the water tip out the front, and then I'm going to let that movement carry on up my spine, vertebra by vertebra, until I get to my neck. And you'll see it's not a really big neck backwards, it's just kind of to the top of that movement. And then I'm going to roll over my sit bones to the back, let the water tip out the back of the fishbowl, and then vertebra by vertebra, let that move up my back to the top of my head. So you'll see there's a slight tuck in, and then moving the fishbowl to the front, and vertebra by vertebra, following that movement all the way to the top, and then rolling over my sit bones to the back, and letting the movement come from moving vertebra by vertebra to the top of my neck and head. So stage 3 is to add breath. So literally as we're moving to the front, that's our in-breath, taking a full in-breath and letting it move up our body. And then as we move back, drawing our belly button in towards our spine and breathing out. You can do this either through your nose or your mouth. So let's try and put all of that together. So as we roll over our sit bones to the front, the water tipping out, front of our bowl, taking a big breath in and moving vertebra by vertebra up to the top of our neck, and then breathing out as we roll over our sit bones towards the back, pulling the tummy button in towards the spine. Okay, and let's do that again, breathing in. And breathing out. And of course you will find your own pace that feels delicious to you, aligned with your breath, but let's do one more of those together. Going to the front, breathing in. And going to the back. And you will notice that as we move, there's a tilt of the head to the back and there's a tilt of the head to the front as we make that movement at the end of our spine movement. And that is why it's called the yes breath. I really quite like that little bit short of the head nodding. So my invitation to each of you is to incorporate yes breath into your life. Maybe it's for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. What's the window that you can do that just brings more aliveness and consciousness into your day? So thank you for sharing this with me, and until next time, hope you have lovely days and weeks and fun experimenting with the yes breath. Bye for now.